Oh, just sorry, Jesse. You have proven it on
He
your
ain't
own
black.
show. Get rid of the white man and everything goes to hell.
It
I rest
really
my
does.
case.
So I wish it wasn't like that, but the reality is, it's difficult working with black people and people of color because when they mess up and you have to correct them, you got to argue with them. You got to fight with them. It's crazy. It's the craziest thing I ever seen. And they don't seem to really know stuff. It wasn't like this though prior to the civil rights movement. Blacks were smart. They were on it, and they didn't have to. They didn't fight with their bosses. You really have to argue and fight with them, and then they hand their hands off for a paycheck. It's a reality. That's what you deal with black people. I know other races of people, including whites, Jewish people, those Iran people, the foreigners, and they come here and they set up shop, they have businesses, and they tell me in private, Jesse, I can't hire black people because they're so difficult. They're just absolute difficult. They come in late or they mess up. You got to fight with them, and then you have to let them go. They try to sue you for racism. And it's just a mess. Black people messed up. And it wasn't always that way. That's what's so weird about it. I happen to know another world. I know a time when black people were not this way. I now know so many black people that I work with, that I've hired. You correct them, you got to fight with them. You point out stuff, they argue right away. They deny, they argue, they deny. I'm like, what in the world? And they used to just do it to other black businessmen and women owners. But now I think they do it to everybody because they've been allowed to get away with it. It's mind-blowing. I have proven. That's why white people, you got to have white babies. Get married and have white babies. Because if you give up, it's over for this country. And you're going to have to create a space somewhere in outer space. Unless there's some land on this earth that no one has discovered yet. And you can go and start. But the reality is, black people are difficult. The men and the women. It's not just the women. That's another darn thing about it. Men used to be logical. They understood common sense. They don't argue back at you. They don't try to prove anything. They just do what they need to do. They do it right. And if they're wrong, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I was wrong. But now you argue with the men like you argue with women, especially black men. It's just reality. And white people, you know it. You need to start saying it. Otherwise, they would never come. Black people don't self-correct. Anyway, you're right. Go ahead.
Wiggins Success says, "Good morning, Jesse. If blaming is wrong, why are you comfortable with allowing whites to blame blacks for the college scandal? Your theory is that all whites are good enough and not a single black can get into college."
Black people, that's a good question. Read the question for me.
Yeah, let me pull it back up. If blaming is wrong, why are you comfortable with allowing whites to blame blacks for the college scandal? Your theory is that all whites are good enough and not a single black can get into college.
Oh, that's a good question, College. I'm writing down so I can remember. Campus. Because what you got to realize, blacks are not smart enough. They don't qualify to get into colleges or get these jobs or be a good actress or an actor or actress. And that's why blacks have forced affirmative action upon white people by accusing white people of racial discrimination and all this stuff. Blacks have forced white people to accept that they don't know how to do it. They are not smart enough, so let us in because we're black, they say. You got to let us in. And then the white people finally said, all right, I'll let you in, but at least pass the SAT score, the test. And black people said, no, we can't do that either. Can you lower the score for the blacks? Because the SAT test is for white people. It's too much. It's too hard for black people. We don't feel like studying, they say. We don't feel like studying to pass the SAT? Can you put it down, put the scores down lower for the black people? White people say, all right, Lord have mercy. Y'all can't pass the test. As a matter of fact, in Ohio, I don't know if it's changed or not. If you want to become a police officer, and this is in Dayton, I think. It may be all of Ohio, but I remember reporting on the Dayton. The black people couldn't pass the civil service test because they said it was too tough. It was white people test. And so they lowered the score. They said, okay, you can't make an A. How about a B? No, we can't make a B. How about a C? No. How about a D? No, we can't make a D. And so finally they said, okay, black people, if you can make an F on the test, we'll let you in as police officers. Even the air traffic controllers, they said, we can't pass this test. And there are black organizations out there who say, okay, we'll help you cheat. It's real. Black people cannot pass these things now because they are just not smart enough. They have forgotten how to be, as they did in the old days. Black people hustled, they studied, they did what they have to do because there was a shame in being dumb. No shame anymore. And so affirmative action allow black people to get in, which means that they got to push out the smart people. The whites and some of the Asians can't get in. They're too smart. And so now white people are saying, well, we're not going to be able to get our kids into these schools. So we got to buy our way in. We got to go around it and buy our way in. That's how this came about, folks. I guarantee you. Otherwise, white people would not be buying their way in that way. And they're too afraid to tell blacks. So blacks are not in these universities. They're not becoming doctors and lawyers and things like that because they qualify. They're becoming that way because of affirmative action. So they're not real doctors and lawyers and entertainers and things like that. It's only because, look at the entertainment world. Remember when the blacks were just bitching about white people didn't give us an award. Even Will Smith's wife, remember her? And others, no, we're going to protest. We're not. And now white people like, Lord, let's give y'all award. Let's pretend like y'all movies are good too. And we'll even your little slave movies, we'll give you an award for that. Even your little Selma movie. Y'all march down to Selma. Am I wrong, Joe?
Sorry, I'm reading these super chats to make sure I don't get them.
I don't blame you, buddy. Now you're studying. Joel is an exception. Okay, so that's why it's true. Blacks are not getting into acting, the entertainment world, jobs, doctors and lawyers and politicians and things like that because they're qualified. They're getting it because of their color. And that's why when they get in those positions, look how they screw them up. Look what Obama did. Obama became the so-called first black president because he's black. And look what he did to the country. Big Mama Michelle hoochie mama all the way through the 8 years of being there. Obama tried to turn it into a socialist society. Police attacks went up through the roof. The races were divided more than any other time in history. Christians were attacked. Everything went to hell because he was not qualified. They voted him in because he was black. And look what happened. The proof is in the pudding.